You lost money today, and yesterday, and every day before that.
$80,000. That's what one Bitcoin costs right now. And if you're watching this thinking, I missed it, you didn't. You're actually earlier than you think. Last episode, we talked about why 21 million, the math behind Bitcoin's fixed supply, why no one can print more of it, why it's the hardest money ever created. But knowing why Bitcoin matters and actually owning Bitcoin are two very different things. And the gap between those two things is where most people get stuck, or worse, where they make mistakes that cost them everything. Welcome to Exit Velocity. I'm Justin, and this is episode 11, Bitcoin for Beginners. Let's start at the beginning. You want to buy Bitcoin. Where do you actually go? There are three main ways to get Bitcoin: centralized exchanges, Bitcoin-only platforms, and peer-to-peer. Each one has trade-offs, and which one is right for you depends on how much you value convenience versus privacy versus control. Centralized exchanges are the front door. Coinbase, Kraken, River, Strike. These are companies that let you connect a bank account, deposit dollars, and buy Bitcoin. They're the easiest on-ramp, especially if you're buying for the first time. You create an account, verify your identity. That's a legal requirement called KYC, know your customer, and you can usually buy Bitcoin within minutes. The upside is simplicity. The downside is that the exchange holds your Bitcoin for you. More on why that matters in a minute. Bitcoin-only platforms like River and Swan Bitcoin are worth calling out specifically. Unlike Coinbase or Kraken, which sell hundreds of different cryptocurrencies, these platforms only do Bitcoin. That's a feature, not a limitation. They tend to have lower fees, better education, and they're built by Bitcoiners for Bitcoiners. River in particular lets you set up automatic recurring purchases, say $50 every week, so you're stacking sats on autopilot. Then there's peer-to-peer. Platforms like Bisq and RoboSats let you buy Bitcoin directly from another person, without an intermediary. No KYC, no identity verification, just a direct trade. This is the most private option, but it's also the most complex. If you're brand new, I wouldn't start here, but know that it exists. For most beginners, my recommendation is simple. Pick a Bitcoin-only platform, River or Swan. Connect your bank account. Set up a small recurring buy. Don't overthink the price. Now, and this is the most important part of this entire episode, you need to understand what a wallet is and why it matters. When you buy Bitcoin on an exchange, you don't actually have Bitcoin the way you have cash in your hand. You have an IOU. The exchange holds the Bitcoin and they promise you it's there. That's fine for getting started, but it's not where you want to stay. The phrase you'll hear in Bitcoin is, not your keys, not your coins. And it's not just a saying, it's a survival rule. When Mt. Gox collapsed in 2014, 850,000 Bitcoin vanished. When FTX imploded in 2022, customers lost billions. These weren't hacks in the traditional sense. The exchanges simply didn't have the Bitcoin they claimed to have. If your coins were on those platforms, they were gone. So what's the alternative? A Bitcoin wallet. And I don't mean a physical wallet you carry around, though that's one option. A Bitcoin wallet is software or hardware that stores your private keys. Your private keys are what actually give you control over your Bitcoin. Think of it like this. The Bitcoin itself lives on the blockchain, a public ledger that anyone can see. Your private key is the password that lets you move it. Whoever holds the private key controls the Bitcoin, period. There are two categories of wallets, hot wallets and cold wallets. A hot wallet is connected to the internet. It's an app on your phone or computer. Examples include Blue Wallet, Moan, or Sparrow. They're convenient. You can send and receive Bitcoin instantly, but because they're online, they're more vulnerable to hacking. A cold wallet, also called a hardware wallet, is a physical device that stores your private keys offline. Think of it as a USB drive specifically designed for Bitcoin security. The big names are Coldcard, Trezor, and Bitkey. When your keys are on a hardware wallet, they never touch the internet. A hacker on the other side of the world literally cannot access them. They would need to physically hold the device in their hands. For beginners, here's what I recommend. Start by buying Bitcoin on an exchange. Once you've accumulated an amount that would hurt to lose, and that number is different for everyone, move it to a hardware wallet. $100 on Coinbase? Fine. 1,000? Maybe fine. 5,000 or more? Get a hardware wallet. Now seed phrases. This is where people's eyes glaze over, but please stay with me because this might be the most critical concept in all of Bitcoin security. When you set up a wallet, hot or cold, it generates something called a seed phrase. This is typically 12 or 24 English words in a specific order. Something like arrow, beach, forest, dragon, morning, river, glass, stone. Random words that together form a master key to your entire wallet. Here's what you need to understand about your seed phrase. It is your Bitcoin, not metaphorically, literally. If someone gets your seed phrase, they have your Bitcoin. If you lose your seed phrase and your wallet breaks, your Bitcoin is gone forever. No customer service number, no password reset, no bank to call, gone. This is both the power and the responsibility of Bitcoin. You are your own bank. Nobody can freeze your account. Nobody can seize your funds. Nobody can inflate away your savings, but nobody can bail you out either. So how do you protect your seed phrase? Write it down on paper, not on your phone, not in a screenshot, not in your email drafts. Paper. Some people use steel plates to engrave their seed phrase, which protects against fire and water damage. Products like Bilfodle and CryptoSteel are designed specifically for this. Store it somewhere secure, a safe deposit box, a fireproof safe at home, and never under any circumstances type your seed phrase into a website, send it in an email, share it in a DM, or enter it anywhere that asks for it online. No legitimate Bitcoin service will ever ask for your seed phrase. If someone does, it's a scam, 100% of the time. Let's talk about the mistakes that beginners make. I've seen all of these, and some of them are heartbreaking. Mistake number 1, trying to time the market. The best strategy for most people isn't timing, it's time. Dollar cost averaging, buying a fixed amount at regular intervals regardless of price, removes the emotion entirely. You buy every week. Some weeks you get more sats, some weeks you get fewer. Over time, your average cost smooths out. Mistake number 2, buying altcoins before understanding Bitcoin. There are thousands of cryptocurrencies. The vast majority of them will go to zero. Master the fundamentals first. Everything else is a distraction until you do. Mistake number 3, leaving Bitcoin on an exchange permanently. Exchanges can get hacked. They can go bankrupt. They can freeze your account. Buy on an exchange, then move to your own wallet. Mistake number 4, overcomplicating it. You don't need to understand cryptography and run a full node before you buy your first sat. Start simple. Buy $20 of Bitcoin, see what it feels like, then learn more. Mistake number 5, panic selling. Bitcoin drops 30% and you sell everything. Then it recovers and makes a new all-time high. This has happened in every single cycle since Bitcoin was created. The people who got wrecked didn't lose money because Bitcoin is bad. They lost money because they sold at the worst possible time. Let me give you the simplest possible action plan. 5 steps. Step 1, download River or Strike. Takes 5 minutes. Step 2, verify your identity and connect your bank account. Takes 10 minutes. Step 3, buy a small amount, $20, $50, whatever doesn't scare you. Step 4, set up a recurring buy. Even $10 a week adds up. Step 5, once you've stacked enough that you'd be upset to lose it, get a hardware wallet. Move your Bitcoin off the exchange. Write down your seed phrase. Store it somewhere safe. Now you own Bitcoin. Really own it. Not an IOU from a company. Actual sovereign, unseizable money that no government, no bank, and no corporation can take from you. Next episode, we're going deeper on something most people get wrong. Self-custody. What happens when you take your Bitcoin off the exchange? How does a transaction actually work? What are UTXOs? And why should you care? That's episode 12. Your keys, your future. Until then, think in Bitcoin.